Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the best division in football, the best television show that's not on television. It's a tough day for a lot of Giants fans, but it's nothing to hang your head about. It's been a great season. Kansas City Chiefs, Jacksonville Jaguars, incredible game. And we got two more games today, and we are going to give you guys some overs and some unders. We're going to have some fun. You know, nothing better after a loss than having some fun. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the host of Giant Overreaction, and still a New York football Giants fan, Mr. Awthentik himself.
What's popping, man? What's popping? You tried there. You tried on the intro. You tried. You definitely tried. Tried to raise the spirits of the New York Giants, man. That was a thrashing. Philadelphia Eagles rolled up a giant, big-ass blunt and smoked themselves some New York Kush yesterday. I did not expect that game to go that way. Shout out to the homie Keith. I kept the receipts one time. The receipts are in favor of him. He is owed a refund for his purchase because goddamn, that was an ass kicking they gave us yesterday, man. We didn't have a chance in that game, and very, very disheartening, man, to see that they didn't rely on Saquon Barkley in yet another game. And it told me that the coaching staff was not looking at it really game to game. Kind of fell for the smoke with the Minnesota Vikings game plan that ended up working, and we got a W in that game. But nonetheless, 2 games back-to-back with Saquon Barkley under 10 carries. I think that's not the vibe, man. Our best player on the field didn't touch the ball much yesterday. He was averaging 6.8 yards per carry and didn't get the ball. So, unfortunate. I don't even think that would have saved us. I think it might have kept us a little bit closer in that game. But we talked about a couple keys to victory, and we talked about the roadmap. And, man, they definitely didn't make no stops on that roadmap. And the keys to victory, they locked the keys in the car on that one. That one was pretty awful, man. Isaiah Hodgins was relatively missing in this game. I talked about how he needed to have a big game, him or Darius Slayton. Didn't run the ball at all. This offense never got clicking. Evan Neal had a terrible game. The whole offensive line had a terrible game. And most importantly, the thing that I talked about the most was that the defense was going to have to show up. And, this was pretty much round 2 of that first matchup against the Eagles this year, man. So that's 2 times in one season the Philadelphia Eagles blew the socks off the New York Giants, man. Yeah,
and I mean, listen, the Philadelphia Eagles looked like the Philadelphia Eagles pre-Jalen Hurts injury yesterday, too. Defensively, those guys were all over the field. Offensively, Jalen Hurts looked crisp. They ran the ball all over the place. I mean, Boston Scott to score a touchdown at any time had to have been the highest played bet in the sports books yesterday. I think
and it looked like Philly made a point to get him the ball in the second half, too.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, this game's kind of out of reach. Let's get Boston Scott in the game. I didn't see the numbers for Miles Sanders. It didn't seem like he did much. Kenneth Gainwell had a couple big runs. I mean, we couldn't stop the run to save our lives yesterday.
Yeah, so it was a tough game for sure. But like I said, I mean, considering everything, I think, obviously my team did not make the playoffs. So like I would never be a guy who ever talks smack about a team who lost in the playoffs if my team didn't even make the playoffs. So,
that's the caveat right there. But let's say it was your team and my team was still in the playoffs, I'd be talking a lot of shit this morning.
For sure. Like if I was the Dallas Cowboys right now,
obviously you can't
Eagles,
talk.
If I'm at home, you can't say anything. So, I
you
just
can say, hey, I got a spot for you right here on this couch, bro.
I mean, hey, listen, the way my back is today, though, I did a little throw into the back out early this morning. So I don't.
The workouts for the 40-yard dash ain't going too well, huh?
Not going too well, man. I mean, the back. I mean, it's like it's tight today. So, but no, it's So I don't know if I have any room on the couch because I might have to lay out a little bit. But no, listen. It was a crazy season for all of these NFC East teams one way or another. So is it disappointing? Yes. But to think about where you were at and where you are now in year 1 of this new regime, I think a lot of people are jealous of that, especially Washington Commanders fans who have been told, this 3-year, 4-year, 5-year plan sort of situation. So to see the turnaround in year 1 is definitely something to keep your have your spirits lifted and keep your heads high.
I'm going to keep the energy the same, though. If something is broken for 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say your gutters on your crib are broken for 3 years, right? 4 years, 5. Let's say 5 years. New York Giants been struggling for a while, and then you patch them up with what's that? What's that seal stuff? Flex and seal, right? You patch it up with a little bit of Flex and seal, right? and the leak stops. And for a year, you good. I don't necessarily think that it's fixed.
No.
So I'm going into next season
very
with,
true.
I've already fell for this smoke before with Joe Judge. I know that the records were very different. This was 3 less wins with Joe Judge when he came in the first year. Joe Judge was 6-10, and we had that top 10 defense. Everybody went the next year like, all we got to do is fill these holes and blah, 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 and we'll be good. Next year is going to be a much more difficult schedule. From what I'm hearing, it's the AFC East, right?
It's tough.
There's a chance this team could regress, and we don't know what they're going to do in the offseason. So for me, I'm not my spirits aren't down. I told you this when we were backstage talking about it a little bit. You get to these games, it's a good thing. You lose these games, it's not a good thing. So, I'm a person that lives in reality, man, and that's just what it was. But I'm not going to sit here and make up excuses for my team either. They got their ass kicked yesterday. I'm not going to say, it was a good year and all that after that. I'll wait till the offseason to do that. I see a lot of people doing that on Twitter already, trying to deflect some of the things that happened, saying we had no chance. To say that after in hindsight now is just ridiculous to me. Look, we had a chance in that game. We came out, the Philadelphia Eagles came out with the better coaching, the better players, the better game plan, the better execution. The Giants failed. That's what it is. But I'm not going to look for some, participation type of trophy here. I'm going to assess it and look at it for what it is. These are the kind of things that have held the Giants back for years. For me, the number one thing being consistency. They haven't been a consistent team since week 9. We haven't been a consistent team. And I feel like we jumped out to that 7-2 lead, on the schedule early because we relied on building this offense around Saquon Barkley, not around throwing the football. And somewhere along the lines, we lost that identity. And I think it cost us in the long run. Our last 11 games, we won 3 of the 11 games.
Yeah.
That's not good.
There's always work to be done. That's definitely, there's a lot of self-reflecting and stuff like that. Not just necessarily the players, but the coaching staff also, and kind of sitting back and thinking about that and realizing, where things went wrong along the way. And I'll tell you from experience, you can say, it sounds very easy when you're like, all we got to do is, shore up the offensive line and add a weapon or two with the wide receiver and maybe some depth at linebacker. And the next thing you know, you're like $36 million and like 7 draft picks and you still have issues. Like it's very hard. And I speak that on experience as a Washington Commanders fan, because last year we were a quarterback away, and now look, like you did everything you possibly could to get a quarterback, Unfortunately, the one that you got was Carson Wentz, okay? Like, you tried some other avenues. Things did not work out via trade, via free agency, or the draft. So you end up going with whatever was left for you to go with because you felt like you were a quarterback away. And even if you were a quarterback away, the quarterback choice was wrong. You're still in basically the same position you're in and at mediocrity. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to in the offseason for both of our teams.
Oh, yeah.
And for the league as a whole. So I'm excited about that. And then obviously the big story of yesterday was the Patrick Mahomes injury, which thank God was not as serious as it looked. I think I say that on behalf of all, football fans, because
all fans of 31 teams outside of Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, basically. Because when you're a fan of football, like I said, I love football. I love football. So, to see one of the greatest go down, as we have decided to call him over here at Awthentik and The Beard, the Unigoat, go down, like it gets a little dicey there. But I mean, like, some of those defensive players for the Kansas City Chiefs that Awthentik talked about yesterday stepped up huge yesterday. I mean, Jones was all over the place.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, it just looked like Kansas City. It was another example of the better team, and the Jacksonville Jaguars stuck around though. They kept fighting. They kept fighting. The turnover by Agnew at the end was critical. The inability to jump through, as Awthentik likes to call them, the windows. They missed a lot of windows in that game when Patrick Mahomes went out. The big pass play, the 65-yarder that Trevor Lawrence threw that Christian Kirk couldn't haul in, and that was a big, missed opportunity right there. And it just, the Jacksonville defense couldn't, be consistent throughout the game. They would have a good drive on defense, and then they would turn around and let them march down the field. And Travis Kelce, just absolutely incredible game. I mean, the dude is just it's unfair almost at that point.
They've got great chemistry over there with him and Patrick Mahomes, man.
100%. And then like the guys, everybody else kind of played their role. I think Pacheco had his coming out party. I think people really realized how good he really is finally. And then Kadarius Toney had a couple of good runs. MVS had the touchdown.
You know what I think we do though, all as fans, and I'm guilty of this from the past couple of weeks here with the win against the Colts and the Vikings. When a team is striding and has a little bit of momentum, we look at that team and we gauge them by their best moments rather than taking an overall average. I remember I think it was Entertainer who told me this when we first got Leonard Williams. It was after the first year of Leonard Williams, and I think Leonard Williams had like 11 sacks on that season. And he told me, you can't look at that one season and gauge a player by that one season. You got to take the total of the other seasons and combine them into that. And I think with the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's a lot of that rings true with that statement, because we looked at them on their run and we try to judge them as a team that's, doesn't make the big mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over, has a great pass attack. These wide receivers that two wide receivers and a tight end who weren't on the roster last year, elevating this team and elevating this offense, and a quarterback who's turned the corner. When in reality, the quarterback is still on the bend, still turning the corner. And this team is a team that can go out here and make mistakes. I can speak firsthand when they played against us. The only reason why we really beat the Jacksonville Jaguars earlier this year was because of the Travis Etienne fumble in the red zone. You see the same thing here cost them in a playoff game. It wasn't Travis Etienne this time. It was Agnew, but same thing, these mistakes. And when you play teams that are, below average or average, sometimes even a little bit above average, you could get away with making some of these mistakes. We saw with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first round, they played virtually a first half where they didn't do anything correctly. And all they did was make mistakes. And then they come out in the second half, because they're playing a team that's not a great team, they were able to come back and win that game in outstanding fashion. But when you're playing against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, even when the quarterback gets banged up like that, you can't afford to make those kind of mistakes in big spots like that.
Definitely cannot afford to do that. And, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're gonna be better. I think they're gonna be a team now that is kind of, on the bend, as you said, even just in reference to Trevor Lawrence. But I think as a whole, I think that team is heading in the right direction. To have the number one pick 2 years in a row, and then to win the division, and then win a playoff game is pretty insane. So they have a lot of young talent. They got a great coach. They just got to just like any other team that doesn't win it all, even a team that wins it all. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be holes. There's going to be gaps. Every year is going to be a challenge. There's going to be situations.
Beat the Rams up this year.
Yeah.
Most teams are headed in the right direction. That's what's crazy about it. The Rams are a team that I would say that might not be headed in the right direction. The Texans probably another. The Colts probably another. But even when you look at a team like the Chicago Bears with the first pick in the draft this year, still headed in the right direction, I feel like,
Yeah, so they lost a lot of tough games,
A bunch of one-score games.
Yeah. So, and I think they got a guy in Justin Fields, and obviously I'm a big Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet guy, and they got some pieces on defense too with Brisker and Jalen Johnson. I mean, there's a lot of young talent there. It's just a matter of
what is
putting
going
it all
on
together.
around the league is super important. And I think Jacksonville just got hot at the right time. They're a team. The same thing that I said about the New York Giants, I would say about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't overinflate your value. Go into the offseason and look at it like you didn't have this. You didn't turn it around from the worst team in NFL history or worst team in the 2021 season to then win a playoff game, to be one of the first teams in NFL history to do that. I wouldn't even, you don't want to look for these like third place trophies.
You don't want to be content with doing better. You have to always have your eye on the prize of being great, being elite.
You got to be the best out here if you want rings.
Yeah. So it was an interesting day of football, obviously all around. And we'll obviously have some time on Monday's Giant Overreaction with Awthentik, and then Tuesday's recap show to kind of dive a little bit deeper into.
That's
going to
be
Giants game.
That's going to be diving into the well. That's going to be a deep dive.
Yeah, Sharks and Minnows in the well. For that one, yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting next couple of days, and then obviously, as we start moving in towards the off season after the Super Bowl, it's gonna be a lot to talk about, not just with the New York Giants, but obviously the Washington Commanders as well. But we got 2 games today, including one last NFC East team to play this weekend in the Dallas Cowboys, which is gonna be I think that matchup's these two matchups here should be close games, but we're gonna talk about each one of those games. And before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who is watching us right now on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, right here, the home of Awthentik and The Beard on the YouTubes. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and tell a friend to tell a friend. Big shout out to everybody in the chat, and I see we had some people here bright and early. Big shout out to Jay Jean. Appreciate you stopping by, as always. Big shout out to Zach. Says, have a good show. Yesterday's debacle got a little bit worse. But keep your head up, Zach. I know, there's going to be brighter and better days ahead, my guy. So, keep your head up.
You didn't read the second half. I just read the second half. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah. Hey, man, best of luck to you, man, with the, the whole situation with the ladies and whatnot, man. That's tough, man. 6 months breakup. That's real tough, man. Hold your head high, brother. Hold your head high. I hope football had nothing to do with it, Zach.
Yeah. Simon with the RTDB sad face. Unfortunately,
crazy.
The RTDB did not happen yesterday for the New York Football Giants. That was definitely something that was in the keys to victory and on the roadmap. Like I said, roadmap, keys to victory. I mean, you said it best. The keys were locked in the car. They never got to the keys, and they couldn't go anywhere.
The map was in the car with the keys.
The map was in the car with the keys. Phone's dead. Can't call AAA. It's terrible, just a long walk to the gas station. Big shout out to Jesse. We appreciate you stopping by as always. Coach Taylor is in the building. Big shout out to J-Mo. Appreciate you stopping by. Marquise is in the building. Says salute to my guy, Awthentik.
Hey, good luck tonight, Marquise.
Texas
good luck tonight.
Boy.
Hey, good luck tonight, Texas boy. Good luck tonight, bro. Good luck tonight.
We're gonna see how things are after tonight's game, Texas boy. When you come back on Monday.
Hey, I hope y'all get that win, straight up and down, boy. I hope y'all get that win, man. I don't want. This misery does not love company. Straight up, this misery does not love company. Y'all go out there, handle business, man. I'm rooting for the Cowboys. Go win a damn Super Bowl for all I care, dog.
I don't know if I can do all that. Big shout out to Waterfly. We appreciate you as always, my guy. Thank you for joining us. Means a lot as always. Gregory is in the building. Super excited for tonight, his Cowboys to play tonight. It's going to be a very fun game, I believe. Big shout out to our guy, Lucas, checking in all the way from Australia. Awthentik and The Beard fam from all the way day here. Ouch. Yeah. Ouch indeed. Big shout out to Carl Wilkinson. Just a palm face. That's all we can get right now. Big shout out to Gareth. Appreciate you stopping by.
All our shout outs should get one of these today because damn, the Giants were awful. God damn, we was terrible last night.
Big shout out to Sebastian. It is sad today. Ben Dawson is in the building. Shout out to Bluegrass
Ben Dawson.
Picker.
Before we get to Bluegrass, I heard Ben Dawson in the spaces, man, dropping gems, keeping it 100 yesterday, man. And this community needs that, man. We need that real talk, not like that fluff stuff, man. Like, he was keeping it 100 in the spaces. I was half asleep. I passed out with the spaces open and all that. But big shout out to Ben Dawson one time in the building.
Big shout out to Ben. We appreciate you, my guy. And big shout out to Anthony Bluegrass Picker. His Chiefs are on the way to the AFC Championship game.
Again?
Must be, yeah. Was it five years in a row now?
Is it? Damn, I didn't know it was 5 years in a row. Wow.
I think it's 5 years in a row they've made it to the championship game. Big shout out to Sean G in the building. James Jones is in the building.
What up?
Real
what up?
People is in the building. JJ Stengel is in the building. Big shout out to our guy, No Mets, No Nets, No Jets for the $4.99 super chat. Says win, lose, or tie. We show up the next day, and that's what's important. Shout out to Awthentik and The Beard community. It's still
tough.
LFG, NYG. It's still tough, bro. Middle finger the pigeons. Shout out to
rolling out that bed today, dog. I was just like, dang. Tried to do some notes from the phone in the bed. I was just like, golly, man, this is gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Yeah, but I wouldn't be nowhere else, man, rocking with y'all after a big loss like that, man. You know what it is.
Big shout out to our guy,
Tuto in the building.
Checking in all the way from Italy. Says massive salute and respects to Awthentik and The Beard and all diehard Giants fam in the building. I'm very proud of all Giants players and coaches for their hard work and determination. Salute, Italy. Shout out, Tuto. We appreciate you, my guy, as always. Thank you for joining us. You already knew Philly Flipper was going to be in the building. Says Giants can finally say they lost to a team 3 times in 1 year. Big shout out to my guy, Paul, Philly Flipper. Appreciate you stopping
All hail
by.
Philly Flipper one time, man.
Bob Blizza is in the building. Says the game was disappointing. Mark Prime Time 21. I'm not saying anything. I know better as a Cowboys fan to talk trash.
You got about a couple hours, dog. You got about a good 7 hours, bro. You can talk it up, chop it up, say what you can say about the Giants. Hey, man, terrible performance by the New York Giants. We should call a spade a spade.
Big shout out to Ray, host of Horrors in the building. I see COD 001. Good luck today, my friend. Shout out to Word is in the building as well. Real people. I mean, you guys showed up today. Gus Bus is in the mix. Heavyweight champion of the world is in the mix.
What up?
I mean, there's a big shout out to Monique. Dallas Cowboys fan is in the building.
Good luck tonight, Mo. Good luck tonight,
Mo. Sandman, Fly Eagles Fly came, to let everybody know, remind, congratulations on the victory.
They took off on us.
Yeah, the Saturday flight is in the building. Jacksonville Whiteouts were a no-show.
Evan Ingram had a decent game. He had the one drop on the screen pass, though.
Yeah, Kirk had a pretty good game, too, outside of that, big drop on the 60-yard bomb.
And then the one where he slipped twice on the route that screwed up the timing, too. That was a critical third down as well. But things like that happen, man. Things like that happen.
Big shout out to our guy, Chris Parking Lot Peace, winner of our latest giveaway on Thursday nights. Big shout out to Logix is in the building. Appreciate you stopping by. Fabian is in the building. Danny Dime Season is in the building.
What up?
I mean, you guys are definitely super, super deep. And big shout out to our guy, Word, for the $1.99 super chat. I don't know. Sad face.
Crying face, sweating face, worried face.
A lot of faces going on after that game, but we appreciate you, Word. Thank you for coming by and showing some love as always. Big shout out to the chat. Whether you're watching us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or right here on YouTube, we appreciate all the love and all the support. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We got a couple of games to talk about today. Yeah, unfortunately. Things have been a little bit easier given different circumstances, but here we are. We're going to give you guys some, hopefully, you guys can win some money. Winning money always makes you feel better. There's nothing wrong with winning money. So I could use some winnings right about now. I could really use some winnings right about now.
Counting some bills right about now.
I need to win.
When you lose a game like that, like how the Giants lost last night, your life just gets into perspective, and you're like, man, I got shit I got to take care of, dog. Yeah. Like, what am I doing here?
Oh, I know. It's been like that for about 4 weeks for me. So we're going to kick things off with the first game, which is going to be coming up right after this show. We have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. The Cincinnati Bengals are 12-4, and they are headed to Buffalo. The Bills are 13-3, and they are 6-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 4-9. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Awthentik is here to lay it all out for you and let you know what to expect in this matchup.
All right, so one more Giants thing before we move into this matchup. You familiar with The Matrix? You remember the scenes in The Matrix, the first one, pretty well?
Yes, pretty well.
All right, so the dude Cypher, right, took a deal with the agents, behind the everyone that was on the Nebuchadnezzar's back, right? He was on the Nebuchadnezzar. He's one of the people from their squad and whatnot. And when they're all getting like pretty much murdered off in the beginning, you get like 2 or 3 of the people from their ship that they get killed on the phone. And the last girl to get killed before Trinity has to look at Neo, because she thought Neo was going to get killed next, it was the blonde-haired girl named Switch. And she was on the phone and she looked up and she said, "Not like this." That's how I felt last night about my New York Giants, dog. It was an ugly, ugly, ugly way to lose a game. We could have lost that game any other way. Not like this. He already knew. Shout out, no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. But this game, man, between the Bengals and the Bills, this is going to be an interesting matchup here. Last week, the Bengals beat the Ravens 24-17, which featured the longest fumble return for a touchdown in playoff history. The Bills beat the Dolphins 34-31. They just snuck out of that, man. Josh Allen got to get his stuff together here one time. The last meeting between these two teams, the game was canceled by the NFL when the Bengals were leading 7-3 in that game, but the injury to Damar Hamlin ended up postponing or canceling that game for good. Our prayers still go out to Damar Hamlin and his fam. Hopefully he's on a trajectory on the upwards towards a great recovery one time. But the Bengals are 2-0 against the Buffalo Bills in the postseason with both games played in Cincinnati. The Bengals beat the Bills 28-21 in 1981. That was 2 years before I was born, in the divisional round. That was when Chris Collinsworth scored the go-ahead touchdown. So big shout out to Chris Collinsworth one time. For all of y'all youngins that don't know, he had a little bit of game back in the day. The other Bengals win was in the AFC Championship game in 1988. Buffalo followed that 1988 postseason loss with 10 consecutive regular season wins versus the Bengals. But the Bengals have won 4 of the past 6 matchups. This is technically going to be the first matchup between Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. The Bills beat the Bengals 21-17 on September 22nd, 2019, but Burrow was still in college for that game. The Bengals have won 9 straight. They haven't lost since Halloween, man. They've been balling out. The Bengals have now reached the division round in consecutive seasons for the first time in team history. The Bills are 13-1 at home in the playoffs. That's all time right there. That's a great record for playing at home in the playoffs. Kind of reminds me of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Their only loss came to the Jaguars in the wild card round in 1996. That was Jim Kelly's final game. I don't know if you remember that interview where Jim Kelly was sitting at his locker looking straight dusted, and he talked about retiring. And this was when I was a kid, so I really didn't understand that a legend was going to retire, because as a child, I hadn't seen any of these quarterbacks really retire like this. And to see Jim Kelly retire, I'll never forget it. It was super disheartening, man. The Bills are 4-0 at home in the postseason since Sean McDermott took over in 2017, but they're 4-4 overall. So that goes to show you that the Bills are great in the playoffs at home, but on the road is a totally different story. It's the Bills' 5th playoff appearance in the past 6 years. And if the Bills and the top seeded Kansas City Chiefs win this weekend, which the Chiefs did win, the AFC Championship is going to be played in Atlanta. So keep your eyes on that. But, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. Bills got to go out here and handle business first. The Bills and the Chiefs are the NFL's only 2 teams to be making their 3rd straight appearance in the divisional round. The Bills also have won 8 straight games. So both these teams are coming in incredibly hot. I think a thing you got to keep your eye out for is the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. They got 3 starting offensive linemen that are going to be out in this game. Former Cowboys Lel Collins tore his ACL earlier this year. I think that was middle December. Right guard Alex Kappa is supposed to be out with an ankle injury. And they lost Williams on January 8th as well last week. So they're struggling on that offensive line. It's nothing new for Joe Burrow, though. Joe Burrow has made it to a Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines in the history of the game. So I'm not too worried about Joe Burrow. But how you feeling about this one? You still going with your hometown Cincinnati Bengals?
I mean, I haven't necessarily decided yet, actually.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
This is a little bit tough for me, actually, because I feel like it's weird because I don't necessarily think that these two teams are exactly similar on paper, but I feel like they're very similar. Okay, just I don't know what it is, but when I think about the Bills and I think about the Bengals, I think about very evenly matched teams. So I mean, I guess a lot of that has to do obviously with the star power at the quarterback position and the wide receiver position. I think this Buffalo Bills defense, this is going to be a lot on them. And, we talk about how good Josh Allen is, and rightfully so. But he has had, it wouldn't be fair to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys fans if I didn't, bust on Josh Allen and his turnover problems. Big shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets for the $4.99 super chat. Says, I said the same effing thing. Not like this.
Not like this. Not like this. Gone. That's one of my favorite movies, by the way. I love The Matrix, man. Great film. But a shout out No Mets, No Nets, No Jets, man. We definitely appreciate the support on the channel, my brother.
Definitely appreciate it as always. But yeah, for me, I just think Josh Allen's going to have to be careful because, one of the things that we talked about earlier on in this show is about how, there's certain teams that you can kind of bounce back from after a certain amount of mistakes. And then there's other teams that you just can't afford to do that. And I think you have 2 of those teams here, whether it's Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. They're going to have to be careful with the football. These are not the type of teams that you want to turn the ball over to. They're not the type of teams that you want to give, short fields to. So those are going to be very important situations. I think the Cincinnati Bengals also need to be very careful on special teams. Naheem Hines has been an absolutely superb addition to the Buffalo Bills since coming over there, and his ability to return kicks and set that team up with great field position and score a couple of touchdowns already since he's been there. So special teams, like when matchups are like this close, you really got to start like digging in, like the special teams. You know, I'm going to need my kicker to be 100%, no Mowers out here. You know what I'm saying? So those sort of situations.
Man, that's a jab for y'all right there. That's a jab for them Cowboys.
Hey. Big shout out to Word for the $4.99 super chat. I said I was done with football for the season because of yesterday. But y'all got me hyped about this game now.
Man.
Big shout out to Word.
It should be a big game. This definitely should be a big game.
And big shout out to Fabian for the $2 super chat. Says thank you for a great streaming season. Don't worry, Fabian.
Appreciate that.
Still here. We still here, man. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We're always going to be around to give y'all something to, have some fun with. Some beardisms. Don't forget, we got a 40-yard dash coming up. As long as my back and my knees and my ankle and my calves all get healed up properly, sort of situation. But yeah. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks.
With that recovery one time.
Big shout out to Zach for the $1.99 super chat. Says, I want a Bills 49ers Super Bowl. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that. I don't know if that's necessarily what I want, but I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad at any pairing right now, but I want to see the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
I want to see the Eagles versus the Bengals, I think.
Eagles versus the Bengals. Yeah, you are a Bengals fan. Big time Bengals fan. Be nice to have one of your teams make the Super Bowl.
You're going to have to eventually drop that whole act, man. It's not
maybe I think you might need to look yourself in the mirror and say the exact same thing. The beard. You eventually going to have to drop that act. You're not a Bengals fan. You bleed burgundy.
I'm not a Bengals fan. I just appreciate the Bengals. You know what I'm saying? Like a good, I appreciate talent. So, there's a lot of small things that we're going to have to pay attention to in this game. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a big game as far as, running the ball, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. Obviously, you want to see your best players perform. Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase. What's going on, Nick DeWick? So, there's a lot of power on this field. But it's always weird, though, because sometimes when you look at these games and these matchups, you're like, okay, this is probably like a 35-28 sort of situation. But then those games end up being like 23-17, 24-21.
Bengals versus the Ravens last week. They were supposed to take care of business in a major way, and they struggled against a team without their starting quarterback.
So there's definitely some loopholes in this game. It's going to be interesting to watch. I think it's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, Joe Burrow is probably, going to have to work some magic in that pocket, given the way that offensive line injury situation is currently. But let's go ahead and dive into let me give you a couple little numbers nuggets here before we go into the over
unders here.
Give me those nuggets. I'm hungry.
Because I want to respond to a couple things you said there. We kind of we can't be on cruise control. I know the Giants lost. It's all good. We don't got to fly through. We got all day. We got to what 3:30 is kickoff today for this game.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So we got another whole hour and a half here. But Josh Allen and the turnovers, that's been a problem for sure. You look at the game against Miami last week, he had the 3 touchdown passes. Things were looking really good. Then you get the 2 interceptions. You get the fumble return for a touchdown. On the year, Josh Allen, the turnovers has definitely been a thing. People have been giving Dak Prescott, his fair share of, criticism because of the way that he's been playing throughout, the past 7 games before the playoffs where he had an interception in each one. But Josh Allen was right up there at the top of the league as far as interceptions go. He was in second place. Now, you look at him now, after the playoff game, he's got 16 interceptions. And my thing is I like to dig into the stats. Y'all know one of the stats that you probably have only heard here about Daniel Jones is in his rookie season when he had the 19 fumbles, 11 of them were lost fumbles. 6 of them were scoop and scores, almost 6, because one of them was returned to the 1-yard line. But 5 of them were scoop and scores for touchdowns. When you look at Josh Allen and the 16 interceptions, 6 of them are in the red zone. That's a problem. You're not only giving away the ball, you're taking away points from your team. He also lost 6 fumbles this season as well. So you're looking at right there, those are 12, not only turnovers, but 12 critical plays that flip field position and lose your team points. So for Josh Allen, we need him to get back to the Josh Allen that we saw last year a little bit, and finish off in the playoffs. I think, the thing about a franchise quarterback, which is what we think Josh Allen is, if you can't win the big game, they're going to start to criticize you. And dare I say, guys like Lamar Jackson are getting more criticism than a guy like Josh Allen because Lamar Jackson couldn't win the playoff games at first. He does have a playoff win under his belt now. But Josh Allen in the playoffs has definitely been, he's been top notch, okay? When you look at playoff quarterback play, he has a 104.6 passer rating. It's third all time. All time. You got Bart Starr at 104.8. You know who the other quarterback is?
Joe Montana? Patrick
Mahomes. So we're literally looking at two guys that, in our era right now who are going to be, they're the quarterbacks of this time and this era, these two guys. They are the Joe Montana and John Elway of the previous era. They are the Tom Brady and I guess we could kind of say Aaron Rodgers, I guess, but
Peyton Manning?
You could say Peyton Manning. Yeah, the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. That's even better. But Peyton Manning, the reason why he gets a little bit of flack and, people give him tough criticism is because he didn't win as many big games as Tom Brady did. When I say the big game, I mean the Super Bowl. But if you were to ask me who was the better quarterback, I'm going to say Peyton Manning 100 times out of 100 times. I will always say Peyton Manning was the better quarterback than Tom Brady. But Tom Brady won the big games. Now, I would say skill set-wise, Patrick Mahomes has the edge over a guy like Josh Allen. But when you look at these numbers, it's what's going to happen in these next couple of seasons in these type of games, these big games, because Joe Burrow is starting to make a name for himself right now as well. And he's starting to be a guy who's trying to enter that conversation. There are a few other quarterbacks. You could even say now that Jalen Hurts in the NFC is starting to enter that. If Jalen Hurts makes it to a Super Bowl, you're going to have to start to put his name in that top 5 category. But Josh Allen, I think he's the one player that is dealing with a big turnover issue. So you got to do a Drake and flip that switch right now and get rid of these turnovers and figure out a way to be able to play loose without playing reckless. I think that's number one for Josh Allen. The other thing about this game, too, is Dawson Knox. Dating back to last year, I used to always be like, man, Dawson Knox, every parlay, touchdown dependent, touchdown dependent, touchdown dependent. He's got 5 straight games now with a touchdown. Third longest streak of any tight end. And that's Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski, who had twice, they each had 6-game runs. So if the Bills really want to, take care of some of these problems that they're having in the red zone with the turnovers, I think it's important that you get, you got to find your tight end. I mean, Dawson Knox is a guy. He's very touchdown dependent. Josh Allen just needs to just play a little bit less reckless when he gets in the red zone because 6 interceptions is half your interceptions pretty much on a year. Half the time that you're throwing interceptions, they can't be happening in the red zone. And you can't be a guy who's at the top of the league in interceptions and be considered to be elite. That was the knock on Eli Manning throughout his career. A lot of people would say Eli Manning was elite in the playoffs, but he wasn't elite in the regular season because he had multiple seasons where he led the NFL in interceptions. So Josh Allen, you gotta find a way to clean that up. But in the 7 playoff appearances, Josh Allen 2,070 yards passing and 17 touchdowns. Kid's balling.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about Dawson Knox. I'll tell you, I saw a absolutely insane betting ticket yesterday. So it was a 4-leg parlay, and it was the first touchdown scorer in each one of the games this weekend. And the guy picked all tight ends. So he had yesterday he had Kittle, I think it was not Kittle, Kelce and Goddard. Mm-hmm. And then today he had Knox and
Schultz.
Schultz,
Kittle?
yes. Schultz.
Okay.
So it was I think it was $50 and it's to win $980,000. And he hit the first 2. Because Kelce was a first touchdown scorer, Goddard was a first touchdown scorer. So if Dawson Knox scores the first touchdown in this game, that guy is going to be like...
All it'll take will be is Schultz to score the first touchdown, and he'll get that bag.
He'll get that $980,000.
I'm going to keep an eye on that.
Now, the thing that's crazy is if... So, they give you most places will give you an option to cash out on a parlay early. So if you don't, obviously at a discounted price.
Yeah.
So the price isn't that crazy right now for the discount and for the buyout on cash out on this one. I think it's like, $630 or something like that. I mean, which to me is obviously a lot of money, but to somebody who's, betting professionally, it's not that. I mean, you could live without $500. I'll take $50 right now. But anyways, so if Dawson Knox scores on that first touchdown in this game, he's gonna be faced with a pretty interesting, dilemma. Do you cash out? I mean, I would imagine that cash out will probably be like maybe like 100,000. Or do you ride it? Or do you ride it to that next game for?
I mean, think about it. How much did you say the bet was?
$50.
To me, it's not even a dilemma. Once you get to that 100,000 mark, I would maybe even think about cashing out right now. Let's say it's 50, I'd cash out. It's a $50 bet.
Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy thing. Like, just like I'm going to go all tight ends to score first in each one of these games. So that's definitely something that I thought, kind of, I like those little intrigue things that I kind of like look for.
All them things to make me think about is how much money I don't got. Yeah. That's how I be looking at it. I look at it like, hey, man, congrats to you, dog, but that bag's not coming this way.
Big shout out to Fabian for the $2 super chat. Says, can you explain why didn't Jacksonville blitz after the injury? I don't know. I mean, they were talking about it a lot during the broadcast.
I know, but you keep going.
I don't think they necessarily had the personnel to do it. And I mean, Kansas City, the way that their offense is equipped, they get rid of the ball no matter who's playing quarterback so fast that, I mean, does the blitz really prove to be that effective?
I don't think he's saying blitz the backup. I think he's talking about Patrick Mahomes. I would imagine. Like, why? How come when he's on a hobbled ankle, why you don't blitz him?
Yeah, well, I mean, I still think that's, even though on that ankle, he's still getting rid of the ball so fast. That's,
This is what I'll say about it. I don't think it's about Patrick Mahomes getting rid of the ball too fast. Not necessarily, even though he can do that. I wouldn't say that's one of his top skill sets. I think it's because Patrick Mahomes doesn't need his base to make the throws. He's probably I'm just thinking of quarterbacks. He's one of few quarterbacks that doesn't need his base, that can throw off his back foot, can throw off no foot. He can make those throws from all types of different angles. And he is a blitz killer. Look, I don't have statistics right off the top of my head, but if you look at Patrick Mahomes versus the blitz, he kills the blitz. That's why teams don't never blitz him for real.
Yeah, he's a unigoat, man. He is a unigoat. We saw that yesterday, obviously. But that was definitely something that I think a lot of people were questioning during the game on Twitter, as well as the broadcasting duo during that game as well. They did try on a few occasions to blitz him, and I do remember, I see Bluegrass Picker bringing that up too. They did rush him, and then he threw that jump pass to MVS for a touchdown.
Yeah, I only think they sent 5 on that play.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a tough situation. I don't think that Jacksonville had the personnel to send the blitzes. I think they needed those guys in the coverage, especially the way that Travis Kelce was just destroying them as well. So
it's a real modest game for Patrick Mahomes, and we definitely missed. Well, I missed. I think you might have picked just the under on his yards. 22 for 30, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So considering all that, he's probably feeling like the Beard right now, though. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, you're back?
Yeah, my back and his foot, because it's like that. Your adrenaline's going, he was, and then, you probably get a shot in the locker room. But I mean, once the game's over, you take all that tape off, you got home by the time
he was beat. Like, I mean, once you turn that ankle like that, the only reason why he finished that game is because it was the playoffs.
Yeah.
You could see him hobbling. He was in major pain. He just toughed it out. Gutsy performance.
Gutsy performance. So let's see who has some gutsy performances today. Let's go into some overs and unders. For those of you that are new here to the over unders segment, we're going to present some questions on the screen, and then there will be a poll. Shout out to the graphics department. Shout out to the poll department, where you guys can pick who you think is going to go over and under. And then Captain Awthentik here will be steering the ship as we guide you through each one of these games and the over and unders. Shout out to everybody who's watching us right now across all platforms, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, home of Awthentik and The Beard, the YouTubes. All right, Awthentik, where was the first stop on this fantastic voyage today? Joe Mixon. They got a couple of Joe Cools on this team. Joe Mixon, over or under 48.5 rushing yards in this game. Some of these numbers, you look at them and you're like, oh, man, that's easy cooking right there, man. Only 48.5 rushing yards. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, they actually have the 4th best rush defense as far as yards per game go. They only allow 104.6 yards per game on the ground. Now, during this season, Awthentik, how many times do you think Joe Mixon has gone over 48.5 rushing yards in a game?
I'm going to say, I feel like he's had a couple of games where he really didn't perform. I had him on my fantasy. Over 48, I'm going to say 7.
Very close, my friend. 8 times.
Ooh, okay.
8 times this year, Joe Mixon has gone over 48.5 rushing yards. And of those 8 times, how many times do you think he has done it in the last 6 games?
Let's go with 4.
Only 2 times in the last 6 games, Joe Mixon has gone over 48.5 rushing yards. So this is a bit of a dilemma for me. I feel like they use Samaje Perine a little bit more lately too, especially like on 3rd down plays. But I think Cincinnati should try to establish the run, but based upon the history of these teams in the playoffs, I feel like nobody wants to establish the run anymore. I have a feeling it just takes one, when these over-unders are at this level, it just takes one really big play to kind of get you over the hump. Even if he doesn't run the ball very much after that, like if he gets a 20, 25-yard run, he carries the ball 5 more times after that for 24, 25 yards, you're hitting. So I'm going to take the over in this one. I think he probably gets to around, depending on how the game goes, I'd say around 55 to 60 yards on the ground. I think I can see out of Joe Mixon today.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over as well. I think the Bengals are going to have to establish the run, at least early. I mean, to me, that's been a lot of teams' biggest mistakes in the playoffs here, is not establishing the run, at least in the first 2 quarters. He should be able to get over that 48.5. Let's see him. Man, we're very lopsided in the chat on this one. This one is, let me go ahead and close this one out. This might be the first time this has ever happened.
Were we at like 100% or something?
Yeah, 100%
no
over.
way.
Yeah.
What? 100% over. All right. I have a feeling that we're leaning towards a Cincinnati Bengals victory here early on. What's going on, franchise? Congratulations.
Big shout out to Slay
Eagles.
one time in the building, yo.
Appreciate you stopping by. All right, Captain Awthentik, where will this ship land next on this over and unders? Joe Mixon going over 48.5, as the chat says. We're going to go right back to another running back, and we're going to go to the little brother of Dalvin Cook, Mr. James Cook, not Devin Singletary, but James Cook, who you've seen a lot of recently as opposed to earlier on in the season, in the middle of the season. He is a rookie this year, so big shout outs to James Cook for coming along here at the end of the season. The over-under for James Cook in this game is going to be 41.5 rushing yards. Now, we talked about that Buffalo Bills rushing defense. The Cincinnati Bengals rush defense is actually fairly good as well. The Bengals have the 5th best rush defense. They're only giving up 106.6 yards per game. Now, the big issue for James Cook as opposed to Joe Mixon is Joe Mixon is the primary back. We talked about P. Ryan getting a little bit of touches, but Cook is not necessarily the primary back. We talked about Devin Singletary, who gets a lot of burn as RB1, even though James Cook has been touching the ball more recently. So this one makes it a little bit more difficult with the sort of split carry situation. How many times do you think James Cook has gone over 41.5 rushing yards this season?
I'm going to say 3 times.
I was a little surprised at this number too. 5 times he's actually gone over 41.5 rushing yards 5 times this season. Now, the big discrepancy here is in the last 6 games. How many times do you think James Cook has gone over?
5 on the season. I'll go 3. I'll go 3 in the last.
Spot on. 3 out of the last 6. So he has definitely come on towards the end of this season. Buffalo Bills running backs remind me sometimes of New England Patriots running backs.
Facts.
Where like you just don't know who's gonna get the bulk of the carries. B, there's a lot of guys that carry the ball. Don't forget about Naheem Hines. He might get a touch or 2 in that backfield. And then obviously you got Josh Allen, who runs the ball a lot. And then Buffalo just likes to pass the ball a hell of a lot. So to me, this one is super sketchy. I think James Cook gets you. He's going to be around this line. I just don't have the cojones to take the over on this. Like, I wouldn't personally not put this on a ticket if I was betting on this. I would just completely avoid it. But for the sake of, conversation, I think he hits literally probably like 39 to 40 yards. I just, it's going to be so close, but I would feel more comfortable sweating out an under than I would the over with James Cook.
It's what he does with the touches. If he can break like a 20-yard run, 30-yard run, he'll get that. This is tough. This is really tough. You said 3 of the last 6 he's gotten over that. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and just take the over. They gotta establish the run somehow. I got more faith in Buffalo establishing their run than I do the Bengals, but it just depends on which running back. Like you said, the comparison to the Patriots is very accurate. But I'm gonna take the over in this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see which direction Buffalo decides to go. Obviously, like when it comes to like running back props, it's so dependent on the game script. Like if the game ends up being a shootout, if one team goes up early, if a running back is hot, like it's just so many variables that go into that. But I'm curious to see what the chat thinks about this one.
We need a countdown because things are really close.
All right, countdown. What?
Someone send in a vote, please.
4, 3, 2, 1, and
giving you an extra couple seconds. Bong, somebody voted. There we go. Somebody voted. Good stuff. It was at 50-50 for a second there, man. So we got 52% says he will not get over 41.5 rushing yards.
I knew that one was going to split the room a little bit. It's interesting how that first one was 7.5 yards difference between, Mixon and Cook on this line of over-under rushing yards. And the discrepancy, you could just tell between – having Cook and Singletary in the Buffalo situation as a whole really plays a factor in this over-under.
Yeah.
All right, next up on the docket, my friend, we are landing back in Buffalo with my guy, your guy, everybody's guy, Gabe Davis. If you are new to Awthentik and The Beard, I've been talking about Gabe Davis since the day that young man got drafted. And he has had a very inconsistent, I don't know if I would say inconsistent career as much as I would say season. But we know he's capable of having big games. But it's just, there's a lot of weapons on that offense. It's very, very difficult. I see Nick DeWick already saying way under the 56.5. So how many times, this is a very interesting one here. How many times you think Gabe Davis has gone over 56.5 receiving yards in a game this season?
I'll go with 6.
Spot on, Mr. Awthentik.
Let's go.
Spot on. But the big one is, how many times has Gabe Davis gone over 56.5 receiving yards? This is including playoffs. I forgot to let you know.
Yeah.
How many times in the last 6 games do you think Gabe Davis has gone over 56.5?
I'll go once.
Are you sure you're not looking? Because that's spot on, Awthentik. Give yourself.
I'm about to send a text right now.
But give yourself some Sonic the Hedgehog coins there, okay? 106. You just went through one of those, didn't you? One of those loops right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Gabe Davis has been shy of that mark for more than he hasn't. But I think COD 001 brings up a good point. Playoff Davis is a little bit different. But we have seen playoff nicknames not perform up to par so far in people like Playoff Lenny. But I don't know, man. 56.5, that's tough. All he needs, though, he is a big play guy, though. All he needs is one play and a couple of catches. He's there. I got to stick by my guy. I'm going to take the over 56.5 receiving yards for Gabe Davis in this game.
We're kind of split today, man. I'm going to take the under on this one.
You're going to take the under.
Yeah, what's up with what's my dude's name?
Isaiah McKenzie?
Isaiah McKenzie. He playing, right?
I don't think so. He didn't play last week though. But I don't remember seeing him. I think I saw him as
he was active last week, but he was dealing with an injury. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's active. I just don't think that I think he has an injury designation, but he's active. So I guess we'll see how much burn he has. I mean, you obviously got to take into consideration they've been getting to Cole Beasley a little bit more.
He had a big drop last week too.
So big drop. Nick DeWick does not count the game that was canceled. The stats from that game have been wiped from the statistical books of history. All right, so we got a couple more left. I think we got a couple of Bengals and one Bill left. Let's see where the ship lands. Let's see where.
All right, let's see. Let's go.
Oh wait, did I ask what the chat did?
I'm waiting on the results from YouTube right now. But last I saw, it said it was just over 50%. It was like 53% no for him getting over.
Yeah, and I feel you, franchise. He has been a little underwhelming this season. He's had a couple of very big games, but that level of consistency has never really flattened out. You know, a lot of like 30-yard games and a lot of like 40-yard games, and then he has like a couple of 100-yard, 3-touchdown games. So it's still waiting to find that sort of medium between those two style of performances from Gabe Davis.
You know what was interesting about him is I feel the same way. Like he's kind of had an up and down year, but I feel like when I looked at his season totals, they were really good. Yeah, he had 836 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's, in 15 games for a number 2, that's damn good.
Yeah.
Those should show you. You know who else I looked up at the bar yesterday when I was watching the Giants game that surprised me like that was Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook looks like he's had, a down year to a little bit, right? But another year over 1,000 yards. He had over 1,100 yards this year. And another one, I give you another one, third one, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I bet
his yards per carry was higher this year than it was last year. Kind of crazy.
And he didn't have any. He only had 100-yard game all year, right?
I think so. Yeah. It's really interesting, like, how we look at these stats. But he just didn't seem as effective, didn't have the explosive plays that we're used to seeing him get. And it was an interesting year for him. The Gabe Davis totals just came in. It was 68% say he will get over, actually.
Guys came around there. A little Gabe Davis love. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate you guys. All right, so we are moving on to Ja'Marr Chase. Over or under 7.5 receptions. So that means he got to get 8 catches. Ain't no pushing here, okay? We save all the pushes for overreaction, all right? On Monday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys are going to be there, although I'm sure I don't have to remind you. I know you'll be there. Ja'Marr Chase, 7.5 receptions. How many times has Ja'Marr Chase had 8 or more catches this year, Authentic? And remember, he missed.
To know how many. Yeah, that's the thing. He missed games.
4 games, right?
4 games. So we're looking at 13 games. And he had at least 8 catches in. I'm gonna go 5.
Very close. 6 times this year, Ja'Marr Chase has had 8 or more catches in a game, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about the last 6, though. How many times do you think he's done in his last 6?
So he had 6 in 13, and how many times he did in his last 6? 4.
Spot on, my friend. 4 times in the last 6 games, Ja'Marr Chase has had 8 or more catches. I mean, it's a lot of catches.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of catches. But I mean, if you got a guy, you got to go to your guy. There's some other guys to go to, though. Shout out Nick DeWick, say he's taking a push. I just don't know.
Have 2 people ever caught a football? I imagine Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase like sticking at the same time. That'd be crazy.
Ty goes to the runner, so I don't know how you figure that one out. Kai wants to know what the lottery numbers are for next week.
Go 4, 11, 83, 46. 37.
Don't forget about 45, 47. Do. Where you gonna go, Authentic? 7.5.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under the 7.5.
Man, do I want to be ballsy? Do I want to be ballsy? I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna say he gets 7 catches on the dot. 7 on the dot is where he's gonna go. Ja'Marr is that dude, Nick DeWick. Absolutely is that dude.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go under. What's the chat looking like on this one?
Let's see. We're going to close this one out. Right now, it's 54% says he will go over 7.5 receptions.
Chat,
53%.
Chat is feeling it. I mean, the way y'all talking today, I got a good feeling that y'all going to be picking some Bengals. to win the game. We'll see. We got the two most important guys on the field coming up.
I don't like that you went Gabe Davis for the over-under for the Bills.
Why not?
Dog, I was like, when I was making these, I was literally like typing out Stephon Diggs, went and got the image, did all the trimming, got the outline, all that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, damn, this man picked Gabe Davis.
Why? Oh, as my guy. You thought I was going to pick
Diggs. Because it removed Stephon Diggs, man. Yeah, I wanted some over-unders for Stephon Diggs.
Well, listen, I went Diggs. I'm trying to move things around a little bit.
I know. This couple of these, I was like, I know you tried to appease to me by adding Zeke Elliott to the line this week. I did not like that number I saw. I did not like that number, dog.
Shout out to the graphics department. All right, man. Which quarterback we going to go to first?
We'll go to the Bills quarterback first while I cook this up.
We're going to go to Mr. Josh Allen. Okay, 17, C on the chest, got the arms in the flex, over under 319.5 scrimmage yards. That is a lot. Yards. That is a lot of yards.
Yeah.
A lot of yards, 319.5, man. So how many times do you think Mr. Josh Allen has done this over the course of the season?
I'd say about half the games, man. So let's go with lucky number 8.
Close, but no cigar. 9 times Josh Allen has gone over 319.5 scrimmage yards. Now, here's the real cookie. How many times has he done it in the last 6 games?
We'll go 3.
Close, but no cigar. Only 2 times in the last 6 games has Josh Allen gone over 319.5 scrimmage yards. So this one is not as easy. This one's a little bit more tough, but 319.5. I don't see it. I mean, I can see it if he throws for 300 yards, but I think he's going to probably throw for like 270.
Yeah.
So that means he's got to run for 50 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can run for 50 yards in this game.
I'm going to take the over. I'm taking the over.
You're taking the over?
Yeah, I'm taking the over.
Awthentik's taking the over. He said, I've had enough of this Bengals talk. I gotta take the over. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the chat is in favor of the under.
From what I saw, they were in favor of the over before I closed the poll. Updated results say 58% say he will get over 319.5 scrimmage yards.
You guys are taking the over here on Mr. Josh Allen. What about my guy, Joe Cool? My guy, your guy, everybody's guy, Joe Cool.
That's saying that my guy, your guy, everybody's guy.
That's it, dude. I've been riding with that one. I'm rolling that one out. Give you guys a little bit of preview here. So Joe Burrow over or under 276.5 passing yards.
270.
So Buffalo's pass defense, not too bad. 9th overall in the league. As far as fewest passing yards allowed, they only allow 214.6 yards per game. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out how my guy Joe Cool doing. How many times do you think Joe Cool gone over 276.5 this year?
11.
Huh. A lot more credit than he deserves. He has only gone over 276.5 7 times this season. Only 7 times this year. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6?
So he's done it 7 on the year, you said?
Yep, 7 on the year.
In the last 6, I'll go 3.
2. Only 2 times in the last 6 games has Joe Burrow gone over 276.5 passing yards. This one's tough. This one is tough.
If they win, he'll get over that.
Okay, so then I'm going to take the over.
What did he do in that the game versus the Ravens?
That I don't think he was. That was definitely not one of the games that he went over on. I'll give you an exact number. Give me 1 second.
While you do that, let me grab this cup of coffee. Hold on.
That's Joe Burrow in the Buffalo Bill game, he only went for 209 yards in the Baltimore Ravens game. 23 of 32 for 209. So not only 6.5 yards per pass in that one.
What was it?
He was 23 of 32 for 209 and a touchdown in the playoff game.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on this one.
Bluegrass says 12 touchdowns, 4 picks in Burrow's last 6 games. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude our preview.
Somebody's got to send in a vote in the chat, though. We're dead split on this one right here.
Oh, are we dead split? We need another vote.
Yeah, let's get that countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and end poll.
All right, 53% say he's going to get over 276.5 passing yards.
All right. Now, let's get down to business here. This is where the bucks are made, ladies and gentlemen. Now we've gone over the over and the under.
This is where the bills are made.
Ooh, man, I messed that one up. That was a layup. That was a wide open layup that the Beard just missed. That was a layup. Man, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. All right. So the Bengals and Bills, they're matching up. They're going to kick off here in about 43 minutes.
Awesome.
And the Buffalo Bills are favored by 6. The over-under in this game is 49. Do you already have a pick in mind, Awthentik, or would you like the Beard to go? Oh, all right, let's go. Let's see what you got.
You said they're favored by 6, the Bills?
Yep.
What's the over-under again?
49.
All right, I definitely think we get over. And I think the Bills cover the 6.
Oh, Paulie was probably lurking. He was like, "Oh, here I go. I can just get a little jab in right here, air ball." Big shout out to Paulie. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. I'm gonna take the over as well. I'm definitely gonna take the over, and I'm gonna take the Bengals to cover the 6. I hate to take the Bills because I think the Bills are probably going to win this game. But I can't. Got to ride with the team that I ride with when it gets down. You got
to root for your team.
They're not. My team's not playing in the playoffs.
The Bengals are playing today, man.
I'm going to take
numbers
the Bengals.
At the bottom is that completions 414 to 606.
Yeah. Regular season.
It's a lot of attempts for your boy Burrow right there.
It is. So I'm going to take the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to give you a final score, as a matter of fact.
Wait, the Bengals are favored?
No, Bills are
the
favored.
The Bills are favored. Okay, so you're just picking the Bengals to win.
Yeah, picking the Bengals to win. But I'm also saying, like, if you don't believe that the Bengals are going to win, I'm giving you the advice to at least take them to cover the 6 points.
Okay, there's a little clarification. I got you.
Yeah, and the over-under at 49 seems a little low to me. I'm going to take 29 to 26 Bengals.
See what the chat talking as well. Forgot to put this one up for them. I'm going with the Bills. I think the Bills win this one 30 to 21.
30 to 21. I would not.
Yeah. Because I mean, this is the thing. Okay, so both these offenses are really good. You got the Bills' offense is number 2 in the league. The Bengals' offense is number 8. But the Bengals' defense ranked middle of the pack at 16. Bills' defense is 6th overall, 5th against the rush. They're going to force Burrow to throw the ball. I think you're going to get one Joe Burrow mistake in this game, and that might be the difference.
Bonus. Who has more turnovers, Joe Burrow or Josh Allen in this game? You can take
push.
the push on this one.
I'm going to take the push. Yeah.
I think you're probably right on that one. I think it's probably a 1-1er.
Yeah.
1-1er. I had this back injury, bro. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this chair, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, so where's the chat? Bengals. I'm going to say they're taking the Bengals.
So far.
So far. Let me know when you're ready for a countdown. Unless you're persuading them to take the Buffalo Bills. I'm surprised, actually. I thought there'd be more Bills love here for sure.
Okay, numbers are starting to round out a little bit there. All right, give him the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End poll.
All right, we got 58% in favor of the Buffalo Bills.
That was a swing at the end there, wasn't it?
There was a swing at the end there. The Bengals were in the lead for a minute there, and a couple of votes came in. Final vote was 58% for the Bills, 41% for the Bengals.
It's going to be a close game, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely going to be a close game. All right, so now it's on to the last remaining team of the NFC East this weekend. Will they be facing the next team up? Let's go ahead and talk about some.
Will they be facing the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, the next team up from the NFC East.
I want to give you some specifics. You've been losing me with the specifics here 2 in a row. Shout out to everybody who says Pacific when they say specific.
I've been known to do that on more than one occasion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Cowboys and the 49ers.
That intro's got to be one of my favorites, man, with Fred Warner coming out the tunnel with the fireworks on the side, man. What a shot.
Indeed. Shout out to the graphics department. The Dallas Cowboys are 12-5. They are headed to San Francisco to face the 49ers, who are 13-4. The 49ers are 4-point favorites. The over-under in this game is going to be 46. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell the people what to expect in this game outside of Dallas turnovers.
I would expect no Dallas turnovers in this game. Y'all already know Dak Prescott went to that game with a 7-game streak, throwing an interception. He snapped that streak, okay? This man actually gave Tom Brady his first loss to the Dallas Cowboys as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer and as a New England Patriot. Dak Prescott's playing some really good football right now. That game, don't forget, started off extremely slow last week, okay? 4 punts, 2 from each team. Cowboys still managed to have Dak Prescott get in the end zone 5 times in that game. Dak Prescott, man, for me, it was the switch on third down, bro. 7 of 13 on third down in that game. 2 for 2 on fourth down. I think they got a good shot in this game. The 49ers are coming off a big win there, man. You know, they beat the Seattle Seahawks as well. But if you could get this kind of productivity from Dak Prescott, 25 of 33, 305, 9.2 per pass, 4 touchdowns. He was only sacked 1 time in that game. 96.5 QBR. We are talking about on a scale from 0 to 100 here. This is not passer rating, getting all the way up to 158. This is QBR. He had a 96.5. Dare I say that was his best game of the season? And you did just slight them a little bit. You called them the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys. They had a playoff win last week. We got to start calling them the 13-5 Dallas Cowboys here. We got to start giving out these flowers, man.
You're 0-0 after every playoff game.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know about that, dog. I don't know about that, but I do think this, man. San Francisco 49ers are a different type of beast. We know that, right? The Dallas Cowboys going up against the Bucs, they weren't even a 500 team. All right, so it was a tune-up game. I don't wish this upon y'all, Dallas Cowboys fans. I really do not wish this upon y'all. But don't fall for the trick bag like the New York Giants just fell for, okay? We played the Minnesota Vikings. We was riding high. We thinking we a really, 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 really good team. We look like a real average team against the Philadelphia Eagles. So y'all are going up against the other juggernaut in the NFC. I think the Cowboys got to play this game with urgency. Get to that running game even more. The rushing statistics against the Bucs, they were pretty decent. You had the 77 yards out of Tony Pollard. Zeke Elliott, we're going to talk about him in these over-unders a little bit, but Zeke Elliott, I think, is the one that's got to get it going. His touchdown streak ended against Washington. He had, I believe it was 8 straight games with a touchdown, and Washington ended that. And he's got to get back to getting in the end zone, because if Ezekiel Elliott is not getting in the end zone, what are you doing? Because he's not getting a lot of yards this season. First season that he hasn't had over 1,000 yards in a long time here. So I think it's important that they get Ezekiel Elliott going, but more important to get Tony Pollard going. Get those big plays. CeeDee Lamb had a relatively average game last week with the 4 receptions. 68 yards is good on 4 receptions. That's 17 per. And he had a touchdown. But I'd look to get him a little bit more involved. You talked about, homie, with the bets with Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz had that big game, 7 receptions for 95 yards last week. This is going to be a tough one. The 49ers are riding hot, man. Brock Purdy playing great football, 7 straight games with multiple passing touchdowns. I mean, what can you ask more out of a rookie, you know? And he's got great weapons over there to do so. So for me, I want the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. The 49ers seem to be the team that we should lean towards to win this game. And I can tell by that little smirk who you're rooting for. But what you think about this one?
I mean, listen, I will, respect the Dallas Cowboys and what they've achieved so far, but and I love my Cowboys, Awthentik and The Beard family. Shout out to Monique and Kai and Mark Primetime, JMO, Gregory,
Texas boy,
BB Jones. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the Cowboys fans in the building. We definitely appreciate y'all. But as a Washington Commanders fan, that's the one that's just too difficult for me to do. I can't actively root for the Dallas Cowboys. That just will not happen, unfortunately. Eagles, Giants, no problem. But Cowboys, nope, not a chance. Sorry, can't do it, won't do it. Feel like Mike Singletary up on the stand right now, okay? But listen, the Dallas Cowboys have the talent. When you go over those Dak Prescott numbers and the way that he played against Tampa Bay, mind you, the San Francisco 49ers are not Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay and the San Francisco 49ers aren't even in the same atmosphere, okay?
Yeah.
That being said, I don't care if Dak's playing whoever. He is capable of putting up those type of games against any opponent. And we've seen him do it before in his career at different times. So I will not sit here and say Dak can't do that against San Francisco, because he can. The only problem is, will he? And will the coaching staff put him in the situation to succeed like that against a team like this? Those are the big question marks that I have as far as Dak goes. Now, for me, obviously, I think, there's a lot of interesting similarities in some of these players. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how, San Francisco can handle, because they're really good against the run, obviously. I want to see how they handle Tony Pollard. To me, Tony Pollard is the Cowboys' best weapon. So if I was the Dallas Cowboys, I would be doing everything I possibly could to get the ball into Tony Pollard's hands. Now, Schultz and CeeDee Lamb, those two guys definitely have stepped up on different occasions and sometimes together in the same game. Obviously, I talked about this over the last couple of weeks with the Dallas Cowboys. There needs to be somebody else to step up outside of those two guys, especially if you're going to stray away from running the ball with Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott. So I kind of got my eyes on Gallup. Gallup had some catches last week against Tampa Bay, but I'm still kind of waiting for Gallup to. I know he's coming off that injury, and there's a big difference between coming back off an injury and playing, and coming back off of an injury and putting up, the same sort of performances that you were pre.
And we're far into the season now. How long can we say that? How long can we say he's coming?
He's only played half of the season, if that. He missed the first half of the season still with that injury. So
right, that's what I'm saying though. Now we're sitting here in 20 weeks into the season. That's what I'm saying. How long can we say that? How long can we be like? Think about it with Saquon Barkley and the knee injury, right? If we're in the playoffs at that point at the end of the year, can we still say he's still coming back? He's still coming back off the injury.
But Michael Gallup, you saw the difference. You saw the difference though against Saquon, coming back last season, and the difference this year.
At the end of the year, though, Saquon finished the year with a 100-yard game. And even though that year was sketch. But that's why I just proposed the question, how long do we keep saying, he's got to be running on a healthy knee now, right?
He might be running on a healthy knee, but he might not be running with a healthy head, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So a lot of those injuries
you think?
A lot of those injuries are mental, man. You have to be mentally prepared. As much as your body might be ready, your mind has to be able to tell your body that it's ready. And sometimes I think that's the biggest hurdle for these players when they're coming back from these major injuries. So, I think you either he just doesn't come back to what he was once before, or you don't see it maybe until Sparks
you
this
can't
year
forget
or next
Michael
year.
Gallup really succeeded when they had Amari Cooper in that offense.
Yeah.
This goes back to how we opened up the show, right? Don't take a guy's top-notch performance and try to think that that's what he has to live up to. Maybe this is what Michael Gallup is. I don't remember anybody saying this about Odell Beckham when he was playing for the Rams, when he had, 8 touchdowns in 10 games with them or something, if you include the playoff games. People weren't being like, hey, man, he's just coming back off an injury. You know? Dude's frying.
Odell
I think
Beckham
Michael Gallup is a number 3.
Different. Yeah, I would agree. I think Michael Gallup is a number 3, but I think Dallas was hoping he was a number 2.
Yeah, they definitely were hoping that. And I think that might be a reason why their offense has taken a bit of a hit, but nonetheless still scoring a ton of points when Dak Prescott has been back in the lineup here. Going up against a juggernaut defense, man.
That's going to be – listen, all we hear about is San Francisco's defense, San Francisco's defense, San Francisco's defense. Their defense, there's been some games where they've given up some points. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out, from this game, San Francisco defense-wise. Now, offensively also, Brock Purdy's probably going to be under a little bit more pressure than he's seen in previous weeks, because I think we can say that Dallas is probably the best, if not, 2 or 3 best defenses that San Francisco has faced this year. So that's going to be an obstacle in itself. I still expect the San Francisco offense. There's just too many weapons. I don't know how Dallas covers all those weapons. Kittle, the only way Dallas can cover all those weapons is if they get to Purdy. That's it.
Yeah, we talked about that on Thursday, and when you said that was my rebuttal for it. It's like, you can pressure on the quarterback. Them weapons don't matter.
It was 100% accurate, spot on. Because
or
that's
you
the
keep
only
them
way.
on the sideline. You take a page out of the Commander's book against the Philadelphia Eagles, and you keep them on the sideline. But the problem with the RTDB, 49ers defense ain't allowed a 100-yard rusher all year long.
Nope. So this is a battle right here. This is what you dream of when you dream up playoff scenarios. Cowboys, America's team. San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Irrelevant. The storylines are all there. The star power is there. Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and then Zeke and Pollard. You got Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey. It's just, to me, this is the premier game. It's going to be super exciting. I could see either one of these teams winning. It wouldn't be a shock to me if one of these teams won and the other lost. I just wouldn't be shocked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really, really excited to watch this game. I will not actively be rooting against the Dallas Cowboys because I do have Dallas Cowboys in some of my lineups.
That's a lot.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
That's a lot. But, once you hear the beard start, yeah, he lying. That man lying right now.
Oh, my back hurts so bad right now.
Dak Prescott scored touchdowns. I'm like,
Back Prescott.
Back Prescott.
That's what I feel like.
I like that. Christian McCaffrey, though, man, he's definitely going to be a factor, man. 7 straight games with a touchdown right now, man. I definitely think he could be a factor. If you could shut him down, Cowboys will probably have a chance. 49ers and the points is the problem, too. If Dallas can score over 30, they'll give themselves a good shot at winning this game, but don't think it's a guaranteed win if they score over 30. 49ers scored over 37 points in 4 straight games.
It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be extremely tough. It's going to be really tough. But Van Der Esch back in the lineup's major. Micah Parsons got to get to the quarterback. We've seen the up and downs with Micah Parsons, and not like in a weird, inconsistent way. Yeah. But he has games where he has 2 sacks in a game. Then he'll have games where he has 0 sacks in a game. 2 sacks, 0, which in the end levels out to being pretty consistent. But he's got to show up. This got to be one of his best games. Last week, 8 pressures against Tom Brady. That was major for them. I think that was a big reason why Tom Brady was under duress, really couldn't get into rhythm with the passing attack, even though he threw the ball 66 times. I think that, Micah Parsons was a big reason. But offensively, the Cowboys got to step up. That's what I think. I mean, and Michael Gallup, speaking of Michael Gallup, had a pretty decent game last week, man. Yeah. 5 for 46, had the touchdown, maybe a little more this game.
They're going to need that. They're going to need that. For sure. And I think my last thought on this matchup before, we go overs and unders and we make our picks is going to be that I always talk about turnover battles, and I know it sounds cliche and it's obvious, but I think we really hammered the point today too, though, is that there's certain teams that can recover from turnovers more so than other teams. I really think that this game has probably the littlest margin of error for each one of these teams. Like, just a turnover can really change the direction of this game for either one of these offenses. So I think protecting the ball is, I mean, it's an obvious thing that you need to do every game. But in this particular matchup, I just think that turnovers can be extremely costly when you're in that little margin of error against another opponent.
Yeah, that's real. And as far as the San Francisco 49ers and turning the ball over, have they even turned the ball over since Brock Purdy been in the lineup?
Yeah, he's throwing some picks.
He's throwing some picks.
Oh yeah.
How many picks he got so far in the season?
Probably like 6.
6 interceptions for Brock Purdy. Damn, I'm oblivious to them interceptions. I'm so focused
they,
on his consecutive
they don't
touchdowns.
talk about those as much as they talk about everything else.
Yeah.
He's got
2. No, 3.
4 interceptions in the regular season.
Oh, but the Chiefs game was not a starting game. He didn't start that game. Yeah. That's why they're not talking about it. It makes sense.
Yeah, 4 interceptions. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. This is here we go. People are coming in. This is a thing that we talk about a lot with Washington quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's definitely thrown some that should have been picks. There was a few in the first playoff game also, I believe.
I don't go off that though, man.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And then they said he has had 3 picks called back also.
Defensive players play defense because they can't play offense.
Yeah.
Can't catch the ball,
except
especially in
for
secondary.
the Beard. The Beard played linebacker and tight end. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Middle linebacker.
Yeah.
29 tackles in one game once against Poolsville.
Wow.
And,
that is impressive.
2001. So that was
Give
double overtime.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Double overtime game. Just in case anybody was keeping stats. Appreciate that. Shout out to my coaching staff.
This is Cowboys' first time here since 1995, man. This is going to be it's a big game, big spot for them, man, and a statement game. You lose this game, you're going to go into the offseason thinking about a lot of stuff here, man, and contracts with Zeke, Dak Prescott, paid your franchise guy. But you made it here. Your first time here since 1995. 49ers, third time here in 4 seasons. Yeah, I know. Facts. The Beard is you know, sometimes you just got to come out and just say, you know, I'm a hater on the Cowboys. Just say it.
But I'm not a hater. I'm a realist. Don't go
to that extreme when it comes to the Cowboys. Please don't.
I'm a realist with a side of, you know, tough love. How about that?
No, you a hater with a side of extra hate. Yes. You don't realize it. You got to run these shows back. We need a Cowboys fan to do something like what Stan did for us the other day. That was amazing. But just clip up all the Cowboys moments this year. It's been bad. You've picked them in 4 games to win.
Rightfully so, though, in every game.
They won 12 games. What are you talking about? Rightfully so. And now, no, you picked the Seahawks to beat them as well. So they've won 13 games. in conjunction to you picking 4 wins out of 18 games. And you said rightfully so. They've won 13 of those games.
Well, I don't know. I want to throw a red flag on that number.
He said, "B didn't know. I didn't know." Oh, man. My man said, "B didn't know." Just scatting over there. That man started scatting, dog. That man literally started scatting, yo. Beat it up. Yeah, man. So of 18 games, you have picked them 4 times, and you said rightfully so. They won 13 of those games. That means you were wrong.
I want to throw the red flag on that. I mean, we just assumed that was right when somebody went back and checked.
Who was it? Do you remember who it was?
I think it was Mark. It was Mark. Mark,
yeah,
I believe.
Mark was. Yeah, he's like, I ain't having this shit no more. I'm about to go through every one of these shows, count this up one time. Yeah, dog. So it's been hate with a side of extra hate, not realism with a side of, what was it? Tough love. Come on, dog. Come on, dog.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to find
That was me. I took notes. Good job, Mark. I gotta call people out sometimes, man. So let's get to these over-unders. We got about a good 30 minutes, and then we'll make this pick. I mean, we know where you're going with this one. We know you're not picking the Cowboys to win this game. But let's start with this first over-under vibe right here one time. Let me see how I want to mix this one up. Let's start off with this one.
Mr. Brock, not ugly but purdy. Over or under 236.5 passing yards. Okay, now let's not sleep on Dallas's pass defense. Okay, Dallas has the 8th best pass defense according to yards per game in the National Football League. They only allow 200.9 yards passing per a game. So, Mr. Awthentik, how many times do you think Brock Purdy has gone over this number this season?
7 starts, over 236. He doesn't put up a ton of yards, but I'll say 3 times.
2 times. Only 2 times.
That's
Brock
interesting.
Purdy, gets a lot of love for guys.
There's a lot of chefs in that kitchen, man,
And then so in the last 6 games.
Yo, I'm sorry, but I'm literally just thinking about that. Ski bop. Yo, that shit was hilarious.
I didn't even know it came out
just
like
entered
that.
my brain again. I can't keep a straight face right now. All right.
How many times in the last 6 games, including playoffs?
2 times. I mean, he's only played like 6, 7 games, right? Let's go 2 times.
All right, 2 times.
You counted that interception where he came in and probably played for like 3 plays. He's going for 4, man.
2 out of the last 6 times.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think they try to take a little bit off of Purdy. Just make him kind of like instead of a dime, make him, like a 7. Don't make him
I don't get off into judging men on a 1 to 10 scale here. Keep it funky.
Don't
No
give
disrespect
him,
to none of y'all that do.
don't give him too much responsibility against this Dallas defense. I think they're going to rely heavy on the run. I think you're going to see a Mitchell McCaffrey masterpiece today in this game. But 236 seems so low, right, for an NFL quarterback?
Come on, dog.
Well, they did have Daniel Jones at 213.
Why you got to bring up my guy?
I just,
I think you got it right with the relying on the run and stuff, but I think it's going to be a Debo CMC kind of type of game. People forget about Debo in the rushing attack for the San Francisco 49ers.
Absolutely. Ooh, this is tough. Where are you going to go?
I'm going to take the under.
You're going to take the under?
He's going to watch him go over 300, though. Get that ready, editing department. Watch. He's going to go over 300, but I'm going to take the under.
All right. I'm going to take the over. I think he goes for like 249.
So you're going to take just over, okay?
Just over. Just a tad over. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that majority. These are probably all going to be split. These are probably all going to be split here. They're going to be close to 50-50s. Oh, my back.
That's crazy. You're not going to be ready for that 40. I'm taking the over on you flaking out and not running it.
No. I'll take care of it before the draft.
Chat's kind of split.
Yeah, this is all going to be split because we got Giants fans and Cowboys fans in here. Shout out to all my Commanders fans that did not show up today. I appreciate you guys here in spirit. Thank you guys very much. I think
we got 56% say he won't go over.
56% taking the under on Brock Purdy, 236.5 passing yards. Interesting take. It's a weird number. I was surprised. I thought he was over that a lot more times this year.
I know. You would think, man. You would think. Mr. Irrelevant himself.
Yeah, the way they be hyping him up. Let me tell you, this dude's rookie cards, like regular rookie cards, are selling for insane amount of money.
that was a beardism right there. Acetane. Sound like a drug.
They
want
sell
that acetane, dog. Dog, homie slipped that acetane in the
Yeah, it's like it's ridiculous. I'm like, man, we'll see how big Brock Purdy really becomes. I mean, this is a huge game for him. It's a huge game for him.
This is a statement game. You know, I think if he loses this game, you can go into next season thinking about the quarterback position a little bit more, seeing, you know, weighing your options there. If he can win this game, he's gonna give you some chances to, you know, be like, hey, forget those other two guys. You trade this one guy and let this other guy go.
I mean, they're already screwed. They're in a situation. There's no question. I mean, it's a good situation to have.
Yo, the chat they're talking about. Kai said, "Hey man, you want some acetate?"
Listen, acetate.
Lucas said acetate, and then Monique said asinine. He was mixing like asinine with another word.
Insane and acetate, and I mean,
acetate.
Insane and asinine together is acetate. Okay. There's a method to the Beard's madness. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen. I got it. It's all part of the game plan. All right. So the chat is going to take the under 236.5 on Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Move on to the next stop on this.
I ran a impromptu poll in between, and I said,
"Oh, nice.
Will the Beard flake out on running the 40-yard dash by April?" 69% said yes.
That's tough, man. The poll department, as I'd have no control in the poll department, ladies and gentlemen. None.
You just got to log in and, you know, put it on the side over here.
All right, up next, Christian McCaffrey. Okay, we're going to go over under 64.5 rushing yards in this game. Dallas rush defense, not as good as that pass defense. They are 22nd in the league. They are allowing 129.3 rushing yards per game. All right. So how many times, Awthentik, has McCaffrey gone over 64.5 rushing yards this season?
10.
So close. 9 times. McCaffrey has gone over this number 9 times so far this season. But how many times has he done it in the last 6 games?
2.
4. 4 out of the last 6 games. McCaffrey is hot. He's coming in hot. I like it, man. I like it a lot. I don't know. I don't see how you – now, I had to separate this one this week from last week from the receptions now. It sounds a little like easy, right? But, I mean, you don't know, man. Maybe he does like 50. Rushing and like 75 receiving, and you know, Debo rushes for like 25, and Mitchell rushes for 40. You know, it just kind of mixes it all up.
What's
McCaffrey,
the number here? 64.5. Yeah. Those 4 games in the last 6, they're all over 100.
Yeah. So.
Oh, he had a game against the Rams for 94 yards. Man, that number would have been spot on had that one got to 100. It's weird. It's like if he doesn't get over 100, he's really not involved, and he's always under this number.
But
man, he had some poor games, man. He had 32 yards, 39 yards, 38 yards, 38 yards again, 54 yards, 27 yards. He's got one game. Let me see the number again. 2 games where he didn't breach 100 yards, but he got over that mark.
So the question is, are you expecting him to go over 100 yards this game?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the over as well. Definitely
rushing yards, man. Damn.
Yeah,
you know, might dump up some screens.
Kind of change things a little bit.
I'm gonna flip-flop on that. I'm taking the under.
Taking the under.
Damn, do I want to take the under? I'm taking the under.
Taking the under. I'm going to imagine that this is probably like a 53% of the chat's going to take the over on this, I'd imagine.
77% took the over.
Woo.
When I ended it, 71% took the over.
Landslide, ladies and gentlemen. All right, where are we going to next, Captain Awthentik? Here he is. My guy, your guy, everybody's guy, Brandon Ayuk. Had a great year.
5.
Yeah. Over or under 55.5 receiving yards on the day. Now, it's interesting with the San Francisco ones because we talk about how many weapons there are. So these numbers are all kind of like, spread out a little bit even. So it's very interesting to see, like, do all these guys have good games, or does a couple of people have great games and a couple of people are just kind of disappear from the game plan? That's the thing about betting on San Francisco players and prop bets. There's some risk involved because there's so many weapons on the field. But Brandon Ayuk over 55.5 receiving yards. How many times has he done that this year?
Let's go 7.
12 times.
Good business.
Brandon Ayuk has gone over 55.5 receiving yards 12 times this year. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games?
3.
5 times in the last 6 games.
Balling.
Brandon Ayuk has gone over 55.5.
I forgot about Debo being hurt. I should have factored that in.
Yeah, so that is an interesting thing. But Debo's been back for
2 weeks.
So the last regular season game and a playoff game?
I'm trying to even think if he was there for the last regular season game. He might not have been there. That might have been his. Is he back 2 weeks? Let me look that up.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, last 2 weeks. He played in the Arizona game and then the Seattle game. Jeez, man. He had a game.
He had a game against it. All of them had a game against the Seahawks. He had 6 receptions for 133 yards. Christian McCaffrey had 15 rushes for 119 yards. Like man, God damn it. Starting to change my pick like mid-show now. 49ers are a damn juggernaut, man.
But yeah, that's the case, But you never know, man. At any given Sunday, you know how they go. I'm gonna take the over in this one.
Don't give me that any given Sunday jargon.
Gregory said, "Spike don't care."
I got
Spike
you, Gregory.
don't care.
I got you, man. Spike didn't care, and then Becky O'Shea took care of business. He still didn't care. I'm gonna tell you what was a crazy scene in that movie though, is when he came out the U-Haul truck with the 70s refrigerator on his back. Yo, dog.
That's what I feel like crazy. I did this morning, man.
Yo, dog, that was crazy. Spike don't play with girls, man. Yo, that movie, you can't even say a line like that in the movies now at all, dog. Like, literally made a whole movie about how a girl shouldn't be playing football, but she was the one. Becky O'Shea was Neo.
Hey, don't forget about there's a girl coach in Friday Night Lights. She starts out as
I don't be watching that joint, dog.
Man. Sometimes
I don't be watching that joint, dog. Like sorry, man. It's okay. You tried to diffuse my Little Giants with Friday Night Lights, the TV series.
I did.
I did. My face was like when they were in the locker room right before the game, and they could hear Spike and all the Cowboys talking through the vent, right? And they was talking a lot of shit. They're like, we're gonna kick y'all ass, da, right? And then Becky opened the door and she had on the cheerleading uniform, and he was like, what the hell is going on, yo? Like, only reason why we thought we could win the game was because Becky was playing. Had to rely on Junior at the quarterback position. That did not work out. But shout out to Junior, went on to play in Idle Hands, a few other movies, after that.
I thought you were going to say he went on to play, high school ball for, Denzel Washington. And then he graduated and went to college at Clemson, and now he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now, Junior was clearly like probably 18 when they shot that movie, trying to play like he was in the 6th grade or something. Yeah, he was clearly an older kid in that movie. Like, all those kids was all like miniature. He was all like 4 feet taller than them and whatnot.
Oh, man. Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie.
Shout out to Rick Moranis.
Yeah, solid flick. One of his last movies.
Ed O'Neill.
4 touchdowns in one game.
That's the beard right there. The beard is Al Bundy.
All right, so 55.5.
I'm taking the over. You're taking the
over. I'm gonna take 55 for Brandon. Yeah, I gotta take a look at his last game. I was talking all that about all these other players. And didn't even look at his. I gotta take a look at his last game. Let's see. He was over with just 3 receptions. I'll take the over. Yeah, I'll take the over.
I'm assuming the chat is like 80% over on this.
It was 62 as I closed it, and 62% take the over.
little bit closer than I thought it was going to be. All right, up next, too. I guess we're going straight into Dallas. Riding.
Yeah, you like I did that, right? Kind of mixed it up for the first game, and then for this one, we just went straight through, straight up.
And we're going to end on Dallas Cowboys.
This joint right here, dog. The disrespect. The disrespect.
It is, as we like to say here, Awthentik and The Beard, it's a little bit of a ascertain situation here.
Yo, that's a beardism, not an authenticism.
All right, over or under Zeke Elliott, 34.5 rushing yards. This is super disrespectful right here.
You did this one on purpose after I asked for Zeke.
No. Yeah. You said you wanted
Zeke. You saw that
Zeke.
34.5, you were like, perfect.
I mean, because it's crazy to think about. Most of this is more so San Francisco 49ers defense and recent bias. It's not necessarily like a long-term view on Zeke over the season. San Francisco's run defense is the second best in the National Football League in yards per game. They're only allowing 77.7 yards per game on the ground to opposing teams. So that definitely plays a role in this. Kai is going under. These numbers don't make sense. How many times do you think Zeke has gone over 34.5 rushing yards this season?
Maybe like 10.
14 times this year.
Good man.
Zeke has gone over 34.5 rushing yards this season. I think that's like the highest number of times of any of the over and unders this entire weekend. So, how many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games?
3.
5 out of the last 6 games he's gone over.
So the last game, right?
I lied. 4 out of the 6. 4 out of the 6. Yeah.
So, but last game, and then he had just one other game because he didn't breach 34.5 in the first game against the Bucs, right? Yeah. That's probably it's recent bias. You know what I'm saying right here.
Yeah. Recent
I'm
bias.
not mad at it.
Paired with San Francisco's defense, you gotta have some balls to bet on this right here.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, Monique says the chat has come to a concession that only using Zeke after the 50-yard line in this game.
Okay. This could be tough. I mean, this 49ers defense, they don't play. They don't allow people to run the ball on them. You saw the man in the opening, Fred Warner, coming out that tunnel. He's not having it.
It's a bad man.
It's a bad man. Dude, if I'm correct, oh, God, my feelings. That just hurt my feelings. I think we drafted Lorenzo Carter before the 49ers drafted Fred Warner.
You can't do that to yourself. I mean, trust me. I could spend an hour. I could spend an hour on just Commanders woulda, shoulda, coulda draft picks.
Same position though. Even though Lorenzo Carter's kind of outside linebacker.
I mean, I could spend an hour talking about sandwich condiments. So
we need to do that one day because I don't think you could. You might not be able to find one more egregious than that. Period.
For just Washington?
For one position. The only one I can think of is Philadelphia drafting Jalen Reagor before Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I mean, you could do it with quarterbacks easily.
Dwayne Haskins. We had only Daniel Jones. But the thing is that those guys weren't even on the board. So you can't even do a rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, who I think could have had a career if Ron Rivera didn't botch that shit. What other quarterbacks could you do it with Washington off the top? Who came to mind when you thought about that?
Russell
we got
Wilson.
A little time.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson? And who'd y'all draft at quarterback?
Kirk Cousins and RG3.
That's not that bad, man. RG3 was all right.
I mean, we drafted 2 quarterbacks before Russell Wilson.
It's not that bad.
Instead of Russell Wilson, I mean.
Because if RG3 doesn't blow out his knee in the playoff game and y'all do all that stupid stuff, he could have been a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, shoulda, woulda, couldas, man.
That one's not good. I'm going to give you one. All right, let's go. Let's go. You don't get it on that one. That's who came to mind, Russell Wilson, RG3. Come on, dog.
Shout out to my man Paulie. Well, this is a different position, but still.
Different position. Shout out to Paulie, though.
LaRon Landry over Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, different position, because the reason why I want to use position is because people go into the draft, sometimes you'll do BPA, but sometimes you got to actually go out there and get the position that you need. So I'm talking about where you scouted for the position. We need a linebacker.
I'd have to do a deep dive on that.
I don't think you could talk about hours for Washington. We got to make that a show.
I know we probably got some wide receivers for sure, because there was that one draft where we drafted like 3 wide receivers and none of them panned out.
Yeah, you could probably do it with homie Josh Doxson. There's probably somebody in that draft that came after him for sure.
But what about there was that other draft where we drafted like 3 wide receivers.
He said Heath Schuler over Trent Dilfer.
There was another one too, man. It was like, what was the dude's name? He went to Michigan State. We drafted like 3 wide receivers in a row, man. One dude from Oklahoma, one dude from Michigan State. I can't. Devin Kelly, maybe was Malcolm Kelly.
Oh, Malcolm Kelly.
And who was
Malcolm Kelly
dude?
First round pick or second round pick? Maybe.
I think it was a second round pick. Malcolm Kelly, and then what was the other kid's name? Devin something. Can't figure it out. Can't remember.
Yeah.
But
so I got you.
That's how bad it was.
This is
I should remember
Stump the Schwab right here, dog.
Michael Westbrook over Joey Galloway. That's a
good one
too. Yeah. Joey Galloway, man.
Paulie.
He's old.
It needs to be authentic in the Paulie here, the way he's just coming up with his answers. Beard set himself up for that one.
I did. But yeah,
Malcolm Kelly over Deshaun Jackson. Major.
That's it. Devin Thomas. That's what his name was. Yes, Malcolm Kelly and Devin Thomas.
Oh my, Devin Thomas was a Giant as well. That would be a little sneaky NFC East jersey to get, because Devin Thomas ended up coming to the Giants after y'all got rid of him after his rookie contract. I think Devin Thomas was like 2nd or 3rd round pick. I thought he was gonna be a beast.
He played on special teams for you guys though, didn't he?
Yeah, and they tried to kind of work him in as wide receiver. But he had a year there where he looked like he could be a guy with y'all, though. Not with us, with y'all. He had a year where I was like, man, this dude could be a player.
He blew his knee out, I think. One of the two of them blew their knees out.
I'm going to look for a Devin Thomas.
Well, we thought we were having about ready to have the craziest offense. Malcolm Kelly, Devin Thomas, and the tight end we drafted that year, too, out of USC. Fred Davis. You remember Fred Davis, tight end?
Kind of remember him, yeah. That was right after and shout out to this homie, because I kicked it with him one time, a few times actually. He was a really good dude. Darnarian McCants. Remember him? Wide receiver for y'all? He was y'all 3 for a couple years.
That's
throwback.
That's a reach, yeah. That's crazy.
He was a baller too. He had some decent years with y'all. That was back like I was still a youngin'. I want to see what years he played for real.
I'm assuming that this one is probably like 90% in the chat too.
Nah, this was 53% said no.
Really?
Yeah, for the Zeke Elliott over 34.5 yards.
And what did you do?
I'm gonna say I'm riding with the Cowboys for the most part on this one, so I'm gonna say Zeke gets over that. I'm gonna say he gets over that.
I'm gonna take the under.
It was 03 for Darnarian McCants. He had 6 touchdowns for y'all. He was like y'all number 3, number 4, and he had 30 receptions on 55 targets for 360 yards.
I was in a different world in 2003.
Facts. Big facts. Big facts.
2003 was a wild year for me.
All right, let's move this next one because we got about 5 minutes before kickoff here one time.
Holy smokes.
We got to make that a whole show, though. We definitely got to make that a whole show. That would be really – we're going to find a really creative way to keep the offseason popping for y'all, like straight up, and for ourselves, man. Like, you know, I don't want to be one of those channels that just does like 1,000 mock drafts before the draft. We're not going to do that. We're going to find a way to talk about the draft in a really interesting way and have conversations and topics like we just had right there. Shout out to Paulie for joining that one, man, because I think that'll be a really interesting way to look at draft picks that, you know, you chose, that you scouted the position and failed. And I don't even know if I'm 100% sure on the Lorenzo Carter and Fred Warner joint. I think I am.
Definitely sparked a very interesting future. That's what it's all about. Planting seeds.
Facts.
Planting seeds.
All right, let's go to this next one right here one time.
Dalton Schultz, over or under 41.5 receiving yards. How many times do you think he's done this season, Awthentik?
I go about half the year, so let's go 9 games.
8 games. He's done it 8 games this
Look,
year.
I was going to say 8 like I did the first time when I said half the year, but it was 9. So I said, let me bump it up to 9.
8 times. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games? 4. 4 times. You're one off on each one of those 4 times. I'm going to take the over on this. I think Dalton Schultz is going to be one of the, higher productive offensive players for the Dallas Cowboys in this game. So I'm going to go over.
I'm with you. I'm going with the over as well. Had a big game last week. He's probably going to be the security blanket in this game. And I think, the Cowboys, even if they do get down in this one, trying to pass the ball and get back in the game, Schultz will be definitely a factor in this. He's kind of like wide receiver 2 over there, if you think about it.
100%. I believe so. All right. Time to move on to the guy. Is Dak Attack back? Oh, let's see. Give
him a 5-second countdown real quick.
5.
Get your votes
4,
in.
3.
Come on, Cowboys
2,
fans.
1. End poll.
63% say that Dalton Schultz will get over that 41.5 receiving yards.
There we go. Chris P says Eric Flowers was drafted over Andrea Pete.
Eric Flowers, yeah. Good God. That's going to be a great pre-draft show. Y'all content creators in the chat right now, y'all don't steal this idea from us one time, all right? Because that will be a great way to focus on the draft. I love that right there. Shout out Chris Peace one time.
All right. Is Dak Attack back, Jack?
All right, so it was Dak.
22.5 completions.
Interesting.
How many times do you think he's done it this year?
How many games did he so he missed 5 games, played in 12 in the regular season?
Yeah, I guess 4.
You're including the playoffs?
Yes, including the playoffs.
Damn, was he right at 22 last week? Oof.
I think so.
Is it cheating if I look at my pre-show notes? I'm going to say, all right, so on the year, over 22.5 in 13 games. I'm going to go with 11. It's high.
It's very high.
Yeah.
He's only done it 6 times all year. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games, though?
Probably didn't do it against Washington. That was an ugly game. I'll say 2.
5 out of the last 6 times.
Damn, so
games.
Just the Washington game.
Just the Washington game. It's the only game in the last 6 games where
You're
he
happy
hasn't
about that, I
completed
bet,
at least 23 completions.
I like it.
This is tough for me.
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say
over too. I think he gets to probably about 24 completions.
Yeah. Have you been putting down our results for this? For
know it, man.
Okay, good stuff. Just want to make sure because when we do this recap show on Tuesday for the NFC East, we can go over some of these. Make sure y'all pull up 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and tomorrow it's going to be the last giant overreaction of the year, pretty much.
I need graphic department to get me some of those early, maybe later tonight, so I can get that up.
Get you what? Oh, those thumbnails and stuff like that.
Giant overreaction, yeah.
Easy. I'll just pull one from one of our losses, change the week number on it. You're gonna get the authentic like this. Goddamn, what the hell just happened? Face. But yeah, we both got over on this one, and let's try to get them out of here on time, man. Let's pick this game real quick. You go first, since everybody knows who you're picking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Dallas Cowboys, who are 12-5, headed to San Francisco, who's 13-4. San Francisco's 4-point favorites. The over-under is 46. I think this game is going to be close. I think Dallas does cover that 4 points.
Those are flowers, by the way, Cowboys fans. According to the beard, those are flowers.
I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to win this game by a final score of 26-23. So I think we hit the over also. 26-23.
I'm looking for our Thursday scores from this one right here.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should take my Thursday score. Let's see what that is in comparison. I have 26-23 in this game today.
All right, I'm trying to see where I put them. Dang, I got a ton of notes from the past couple of weeks. Golly.
I got 3-ring binders over here, man.
Still handwriting them notes. I don't got our scores from the past week. I don't want to hold them here too long while I try to search for the scores and whatnot.
I don't think I made it as high scoring as I did now on Thursday. I got 26-23.
26-23. I know I had the Cowboys getting to like 31. This is gonna be tough. Today I'm just gonna go with my gut. Damn, do I really pick the Cowboys? Everything's on the line here, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. Cowboys, I'm rooting for y'all, man. Shout out to all y'all that supported the show this year, man. A predominantly New York Giants and Washington Commanders show. Y'all been showing up, showing out. I think y'all deserve the victory, man. I'm gonna go Cowboys in this one, 31-21.
All right, there you have it, folks. Big shout out to all of our Cowboys fans that are here rocking with us today. We want to make sure that we give you as many flowers as possible from a Washington fan and everything that you guys definitely deserve as far as making it this far in the season. Big shout out to you guys hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate it for sure. It means a lot to us. Good luck today rooting for your teams, whether you're a Dallas fan, a 49ers fan, Bengals, or a Bills fan. We would not be able to do this without each and every one of you, no matter who you are a fan of. So big shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you all pulling up. Don't forget, tomorrow, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be the Giant Overreaction with yours truly, Mr. Awthentik, holding it down for Giants Nation. And then Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back for the recap of this weekend's madness. So big shout out to everybody. We appreciate all the love and support. Make sure y'all enjoy the day. I'm going to get a heating pad. Already popped some Advil. We get this back
You
right.
know you old when you got one of them heating pads, one of them tan heating pads one time. You got to plug into the wall and whatnot. Yeah, best of luck to your back, man, your backyatomy situation you got going on over there. I just got an update from Bleacher Report. It says it's snowing buckets in Buffalo, so that's going to be an interesting game. Might change some of these over-unders. But like the Beard said, man, best of luck to all the Cowboys fans out there and all your teams, especially if you root for them Cincinnati Bengals like that guy does one time. And enjoy y'all playoff football. I think the one, little bonus here with the New York Giants taking that L that we took is we get to watch some playoff football today, man. And these are some good games, man. So Bills, Bengals, Cowboys, Niners. This is fantastic. So best of luck to all the teams involved. And y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and The Beard, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Rest in peace to the podcast GOAT, Combat Jack, one time. And y'all enjoy y'all Sunday football. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the most anticipated Giant overreaction of the year. It's going to be on fire. I'm going to be roasting. Y'all get ready for that one. We will see y'all on Monday, man. Y'all be good. Peace.